I've purchased and tested over 100 accessories for Samsung's S series, Fold series, and Flip series devices, and honestly, most of it has been absolute garbage. But surprisingly, it was some of the smallest accessories that ended up being the biggest game changers. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys why anyone who drives a car needs this adapter, and we're also going to take a look at dozens of other incredible accessories for your Samsung phone. And as always, none of this is sponsored. There are time codes down below, and I'll have affiliate links to all these products in the description and pinned comment. So, the first must-have accessory is either a MagSafe ring or a MagSafe case. Both of these unlock the entire MagSafe ecosystem of accessories for your phone. This includes things like MagSafe wallets, power banks, car mounts, rings and stands, and even unlocks ultra-fast Qi2 wireless charging for some of Samsung's phones. So, if you don't use a case with your phone, then your best option for MagSafe rings is going to be one of these two ESR rings. There's two different styles here. This style with a little tail on it gives you the vertical magnets as well, or if you don't need those vertical magnets, you can go with this slimmer one here. Both of these have been working really well for me, especially on the S Ultra series devices, because I haven't had any issues with the S Pen being affected by putting these rings on. Both of these come with an alignment guide to make sure the magnet is properly centered, and they can even be stuck to the outside of most smartphone cases. But if you're going to be using a case, then I recommend just getting a case with a MagSafe ring built into it. And for that, I've been using the Torres O-Stand case for a few big reasons. First, it does a great job protecting the phone without being excessively thick. The cameras are protected by a raised lip, and the front has a decent sized lip as well to protect from face down drops. But the biggest reason I use this case is because the MagSafe ring folds out and rotates to be used as a kickstand in any orientation. And it even has a friction hinge so you can get the perfect angle on your desk. And since you can fold the ring out at any angle, you can just use it for a better grip. The buttons on these cases are also super clicky. But if you don't need a kickstand and you just want the slimmest possible MagSafe case that still does an excellent job protecting your phone, then the Spigen 01 case is my favorite option. Not only does this still do an incredible job protecting your phone while being in a really slim package, they were still able to fit the MagSafe ring on the inside of the case, and the design looks absolutely incredible. Now, if you're someone who does occasionally want to use a kickstand, you just don't want it on the case all the time, then I've got a few excellent MagSafe options for you. The first option is this Torres ring. It just snaps onto the back of the phone, and you get two options from here. If you just want the kickstand, you pull the big ring out. And this is on a friction hinge, so you can prop your phone up at any angle you'd like. You could also rotate the ring on the back of the phone and stand it up in landscape mode instead. If you don't need the kickstand feature, but instead you just want an easier way to hold your phone, then you can push the big ring back in and pull out the smaller ring on the inside. And that ring rotates all the way around in a circle. You can then stick one of your fingers through the ring and have a really easy way to hold the phone. The Torres ring also has a hidden feature where if you pull the kickstand ring all the way out, you get another set of magnets right here. And now you can stick your phone to pretty much any metal surface. This could be your refrigerator, or maybe some workout equipment, or even a workbench. And it also has an incredibly slim profile. But when you don't want it, you just slide it off to the side and pop it right off. If you just want the slimmest possible MagSafe kickstand and you also really love pop sockets, then the Andobil ring is the way to go. Once you snap this on, you just need to lift one of the edges with a fingernail, then you've got a pop socket style holder. When you're done, you just press it back in, and it pops back to that slim size. If you want to use it as a kickstand, you pull out the outer ring, and you can use that either in portrait or landscape orientations. And since it does have a friction hinge, you can adjust the angle to whatever you need. This ring also has magnets on the outside, so you can stick this directly to a refrigerator or workout equipment. And since the magnet's on the outside, you don't need to first open up the kickstand before sticking the phone onto something metal. If you don't mind having a bit of a bulkier stance to get some incredible extra functionality, then the Shine Wii stand is a much better option. It is a bit bigger, but it has an incredible bonus feature here. So because it can extend so far, not only can you stand your phone up at any angle in portrait or landscape modes, but this huge stand allows you to prop your phone up like this and take a photo with it. And it doesn't even have to be sitting on a flat surface. You can also just use this ring to hang your phone from somewhere and take a picture like that. and both sides of this are magnetic. So if I close this back up and pull this off and flip it over, it'll just snap right back on. That also means that I can directly attach this to a refrigerator or workbench or pretty much any other metallic object. And one last bonus feature with this ring is if I take it off, I can hold just the red part and flick it and use it as a fidget spinner. I'm not sure how many people are going to be using it that way, but it does technically work. If you don't want to use a MagSafe attachment for propping up your phone for photos, and you're tired of precariously leaning your phone up against something to try to get a group photo, only to have it come tumbling down to the ground as soon as you walk away, then the Joby Grip Tight 1 Micropod is an excellent choice. Not only is this thing crazy compact, but it also has a ball head so you can put it on uneven surfaces and still get a level shot. But the best part is when you want to put this away, everything folds up so tiny that it can fit inside that otherwise useless pocket on your jeans. One of the most useful types of MagSafe accessories are MagSafe wallets, and I've got two incredible options here. If you're just looking for the absolute thinnest wallet possible, then the Moft wallet is the way to go. This is designed to hold 2 cards, but I could fit 3 pretty comfortably. 4 is kind of pushing it, and you're probably going to wear the wallet out faster with that many cards, but it is technically possible. And this hourglass shape folds out, not only making it easier to get the cards out, but it also allows you to stand your phone up in both portrait and landscape orientations. If you want a bit more card storage and easier access to those cards, then ESR's wallet is going to be really hard to beat. The front pouch is built for 3 cards, but I could easily fit 4 cards comfortably, and the notch on the bottom makes it really easy to push your cards out. If you open the wallet, you get 2 more card slots, one of them having a clear plastic cover for an ID, so you don't even have to take it out of the wallet, but both sides have push cutouts to make it easier to get these cards out as well. And since it has a friction hinge, you can use this wallet as a kickstand in both portrait and landscape orientations. So all in, you're looking at least 5 total cards, possibly up to 7 depending on how thick your cards are. And even loaded up with 6 cards, this is still incredibly thin. One important thing to point out with both of these wallets is that if you have an S Ultra series device, the wallet's going to cover part of the telephoto camera lens. So when you're taking zoom photos, you just got to remember to turn the wallet out of the way. One really important difference between these two wallets is that if you get the Moft wallet, you need to have a MagSafe case or ring with the bottom alignment magnet. If you just have the ring magnet, the wallet's not really going to hold on very well. But once the alignment magnet is added, it makes a big difference. The ESR wallet, on the other hand, is significantly stronger and holds on super tight regardless of which type of magnetic connector you have. I get a lot of questions about what the best screen protectors are for Samsung devices, and my recommendation has changed over the years, mainly because Samsung now makes anti-reflective screens and anti-reflective screen protectors. And these make a huge difference in outdoor visibility. So personally, I recommend just getting one of Samsung's anti-reflective screen protectors for your device if it's available. The one downside with these protectors is they're not glass, it's just a film flexible screen protector. So if you're someone who absolutely needs a glass screen protector, then Torres, Spigen, and Ultra Glass all make excellent screen protectors that do still support the fingerprint sensor. And they all come with alignment trays to make it super easy to line the glass up correctly on your phone. But the problem with glass screen protectors is that you'll lose the anti-reflective feature if your Samsung phone has that. If you're okay with that, I'll leave links to all 3 below, and you can pick whichever one happens to be the cheapest at the time. We still have a lot to cover in this video, between the gaming controllers and even some pro-level accessories to help you guys get every single penny's worth of functionality out of your phone. But I wanted to jump back a minute and talk about this adapter that I showed you guys at the beginning of the video, because this is just too incredible to wait any longer to show you guys. Now, what this is a wireless Android Auto adapter, but not just any wireless Android Auto adapter. This is a newer generation of it that works so incredibly fast compared to the previous generations. And it works so smoothly. I can't see any perceivable difference between a wired connection and this wireless connection. And I've gone on a lot of drives, and every single time this thing just works, and it works reliably. And it even supports multiple devices and Apple CarPlay. So of all the devices I'm going to show you guys in this video, this one is easily top 5. While we're taking a look at this car accessory, let's take a look at some other car accessories that are absolutely incredible to have for your Samsung device. And since we already found a way to add MagSafe compatibility with either a ring or a MagSafe case, let's take a look at some of the MagSafe accessories first. So if you're looking for an excellent car mount, my recommendation is the ESR Qi2 Fast Wireless Charging MagSafe Car Mount. Not only does it support the crazy fast Qi2 wireless charging speeds, but it also has a built-in fan to keep the charger and your phone cool. And the reason I like this particular design is the vent clip is really unique. It has an extension arm that grabs the back side of the clip, then you turn this collar and it gradually tightens onto the vent. And once it's secured, this friction arm can rotate all the way around to get your phone in exactly the position you need it. If you don't care for wireless charging and you just want a really compact MagSafe charger, then ESR has a great option for that too with this little triangle-shaped charger. It still uses that hook to attach to the vent, but your phone will connect directly in front of it instead of being offset. And this is also considerably less expensive. And on the top of the mount, there is a notch here for a cable. And this would be great if you prefer even faster wired charging for your phone, or if you prefer wired Android Auto versus wireless Android Auto. But honestly, I think even if you're using wired Android Auto, you should just get the wireless adapter that I mentioned earlier. If you decided not to get a MagSafe ring or case, and you just want a car mount that works with any case or no case at all, then I recommend the IOTI One Touch series of car mounts. There's a push button on these mounts, so when you press your phone into it, the side arms automatically close and grab on. And taking the phone out is as easy as squeezing the two wings. The front is on a ball joint, so you can rotate it around to get the right angle, and the arm can flip all the way around and extend, so you've got a lot of versatility on how to mount this. And the feet are adjustable by pulling them out or pushing them in. On the back of the mount, there's a rotating cable holder, and that makes it a lot easier to quickly plug in for either Android Auto or to just charge your phone. IOTI's suction cups are some of the strongest suction cups I've ever used on a car mount, and that's because it has a combination of a sticky pad as well as a suction latch. If you need to charge multiple devices in your car at the same time and you want a great wired charger, there are 3 excellent options. If you want the most power possible, then the Roadress 200-watt charger is the way to go. You can charge 2 separate laptops at 100 watts each simultaneously with this charger. There's also a USB-A port to charge a third device, but that does eat into some of that 200 watts. Just make sure you check your car's max wattage before trying to use the full 200 watts so you don't blow a fuse. The Basis 160-watt charger is a great alternative if your car doesn't support the full 200 watts. This will still give you 100 watts through the top USB-C port and 30 watts each for the other 2 ports. If you don't need that huge amount of power, then I recommend the Worcer's 90-watt charger. This can charge 2 Samsung devices at up to 45 watts each. The Worcer's charger also comes with 2 USB-C to C cables, so you don't have to buy your own. But if you want the smallest possible charger, then the Mr. Glass charger is the one for you. The one trade-off with this being so incredibly small is that it'll only charge your Samsung devices at up to 25 watts, which is still pretty quick, but not quite as fast as the 45-watt charging that you get with the other 2 chargers. And since this is so compact, it'll actually sit completely flush in some of your cars depending on how deep your port is. And that's why there's a metal handle that folds out, so you can actually pull it out of the socket once it's in. If you're someone who likes to make sure that your phone's always got more than enough power to get you through any situation, then boy have I found some really cool portable chargers for you guys. Now, most of you might be thinking, yeah, I'll just get Samsung's official 10,000 milliamp hour charger because, you know, that's straight from Samsung. That's gotta be a good one, right? Well, you could get this big 10,000 milliamp hour charger, or you can get this tiny 10,000 milliamp hour charger. Like, look how tiny this thing is. This is crazy. And it also has some really cool features built into it. So Samsung charger, no display, nothing, some basic ports, and you get 10,000 milliamp hours. It's okay. But this guy, you get 2 USB-C ports and a USB-A port on top. And this little lanyard thing isn't just a lanyard, it's actually a cable. So I can just pop this out, and now I've got a USB-C to USB-C cable to use on the go. And I actually brought this on a trip recently and used it a ton. Since it's so small, it packs easily in the bag, and I can quickly just press this button on the side to see how much charge I have left. And I can even charge my Samsung devices at their max 45-watt charge speeds. Like, that's just absolutely insane. Now, let's say you don't want to have your phone plugged in because you want to use it while you're charging, and while this is pretty small and manageable to do, you don't want to accidentally drop it and pull on the charge ports, things like that, then I have a better option for you. This is INEU's 10,000 milliamp hour fast wireless charging MagSafe battery pack that just slaps right on the back of your phone and instantly starts charging it with fast wireless charge speeds. There's also a little paw print on the back that shows you your battery level. And there's also two USB-C ports. So there's one on the bottom here and one on the side. And you can plug both of those into other devices and charge 3 devices at the same time. And yes, this lanyard does also double as a USB-C cable as well. But beyond all of that, let's say you're using your phone and you want to put it down for a second to watch a video. Well, this battery pack also comes with a tiny little kickstand. Now, this is a really tiny kickstand, so I would advise being careful with it. I haven't personally broken mine, but I could imagine you breaking it if you accidentally push too hard or push down on the phone too hard with a little kickstand like this. And by the way, these USB-C charge ports, if you want the fastest possible charging, these also support 45-watt charging for Samsung's devices, which is excellent if you're trying to charge something like a tablet. Just know that the 45-watt charging only works if you're charging a single device. As soon as you wirelessly connect another device or plug a second device in, you get a reduced charge speed. So 45 is the max on just one port. And if you ever need to check the battery level, there is a button on the side. Just press that, and the paw print will illuminate, showing you how much battery you have left. Now, if you need the maximum amount of power for something like camping, or maybe you're charging laptops and you want 100-watt charging for those laptops, or maybe even 2 laptops at 100 watts each at the same time from the same power bank, then Anker's 20,000 milliamp hour power bank is the way to go. This also supports power pass-through. So if you're recharging this with the max charge speed of 100 watts through one of the USB-C ports, then you plug in something like a Samsung tablet to the other USB-C port, the power bank will pass through 45 watts to that tablet, then start charging itself with the remaining 55 watts. And in case you're wondering, the maximum total output for this is 220 watts. So as I mentioned earlier, you get 2 laptops charging at 100 watts each, but the USB-A port will get you another 20 watts for that total of 220 watts of charging with this single power bank, which is just nuts. But what's even crazier is this power bank has a bigger brother, and that's this guy right here, which is a 26,250 milliamp hour battery. If you're wondering why it's such a weird number, this is the largest battery you can bring on an airplane, like literally just at the maximum limit so that they don't confiscate this from you. And this guy steps things up even further. So instead of the 100 watt limitations that you had on the smaller brother, this guy can do 140 watts out of each of the 2 ports, plus another 20 watts through the USB-A port for a total of 300 watts of output. And when it comes time to charge this behemoth, you can charge at 250 watts by using both USB-C ports at the same time. So it works out to about 125 watts per USB-C port. Not only do the screens on these tell you the current battery percentage, as well as the output and input power on each individual port, but it even shows you the temperature that it's currently working at and tells you whether or not it's in a safe temperature. And if I continue to click through, you'll see that there's even a Bluetooth connectivity option. That's right, these power banks have their own application, which allows you to do things like limit power on specific ports, see graphs of the power over time, and even update the firmware on the power banks. And if you're not sure which one of these to get, I personally prefer the smaller one because of the portability, and you still get 100 watts of output through each of those ports, which is more than enough for me personally. I'd only go to the bigger power bank if you need to have power for an extended period of time, maybe like a longer camping trip, or you absolutely need 140 watts of output for multiple devices at the same time. And both of these power banks come with a travel case to keep you from getting scratched when you're traveling, and a 240 watt rated cable. And speaking of these cables, if you do want that super fast 45 watt plus charging on your devices, you do need high power rated cables. And the cables that come with your Samsung products generally aren't rated high enough for that wattage. So if you're going to be using these high powered chargers, then you definitely want to get some high power cables to go along with them. And a great inexpensive option are the Ugreen high power cables. These are rated at up to 240 watts, but are generally less expensive than Anker's cables. And I've been using Ugreen's cables for years and I've never had an issue with them. If instead of portable power, you're just looking for the best wall charger, that's going to depend really heavily on what exactly you need out of a wall charger, so I've got a few excellent options. If you're just looking for the most compact charger possible that can fast charge all of your Samsung devices, including your tablets at up to 45 watts, then your best bet is going to be the Anker Nano Charger. This is insanely compact and the prongs fold in for easy traveling. If you want to charge more than one device at a time, but you still want something really compact, then the next step up is going to be Anker's GaN Prime 100 watt charger. This gives you two USB-C ports, each capable of 100 watt output, as well as a USB-A port capable of up to 20 watts. So that means both USB-C ports support Super Fast Charge 2.0 for 45 watt charging on any of your Samsung devices, but if you plug in two Samsung devices to these USB-C ports, this middle port is going to get the full 45 watt charging, and the bottom port will drop to Samsung's 25 watt charging. Regardless, both those charge speeds are still incredibly fast. And when you need to travel, the prongs fold in so it easily slips into a bag. And this has actually been the charger I've personally been taking on every trip for over a year. Now, if you've got a bunch of devices to charge and you want to charge them all at their max possible charge speeds, all at the same time, while also keeping an incredibly compact charger that's barely bigger than this one, then Anker's latest Prime charger is going to be the way to go. This thing is marginally larger than the previous generation, but it has 3 USB-C ports on the bottom, and each of these ports is capable of a 150 watt output if that's the only port you use. Or you get up to 160 watts of total output if multiple ports are being used. But even if you plug in 3 Samsung devices at the same time, those will all be able to charge at the maximum charge speed all at the same time. And if that's not good enough, this charger also has a display just like Anker's power bank that I showed you a minute ago. And it has all the same features, including the application, so you can see graphs of the charge speeds, change the charging speed and priorities, and even update the firmware. And the prongs obviously fold up on this one as well for easy travel. If instead of portable chargers, you just want a slim charger that you can plug in somewhere like a kitchen countertop to charge a bunch of different devices at the same time, then for that, I recommend the NECMIT 100 watt charger. This guy's got 2 USB-C ports and a USB-A port on the bottom, and it's incredibly thin, so it sits relatively flush up against the wall, considering that you get 100 watts out of this. And here's how the power gets split between the ports, depending on how many devices you connect. If the most important thing to you is slimness, because you need to fit the charger behind something, but you don't want to sacrifice the 45 watt charge speeds, then the Basis 65 watt charger is the way to go. This is hands down one of the slimmest chargers I could find, and it's the one I was personally using in my kitchen for well over a year now. The USB-C port supports up to 65 watt charging if your device supports it, or 45 watt charging for Samsung's devices, and the USB-A port supports up to 20 watt charging. The prongs also fold in for super easy travel. If you're in the market for a smartwatch, then Samsung's got a lot of different options depending on not only your style, but what you want to use the watch for. If you want something that looks like a traditional watch, then Samsung's Classic Series smartwatches are the way to go. They've got a traditional rotating bezel that actually allows you to interact with the watch, and it's really easy to dress these watches up for special occasions. If you're looking for a really lightweight and comfortable smartwatch that's easy to sleep with, then Samsung's regular Galaxy Watch series is the way to go. These lose the rotating bezel, but are smaller and lighter than Samsung's classic watches. And if you're an outdoorsy person who wants the maximum amount of durability, the maximum amount of battery life, and some extra health features, then the Ultra Series watches will be the one to go with for you. These are even more rugged, but do come with a bulkier body, making it a bit less comfortable to wear when sleeping. And when it comes to features, all of Samsung's Galaxy watches are absolutely packed with a ton of different things you can do. And I actually made a 200-page deep dive guide into everything you can do with these watches. So if you really want to maximize the usability of your Galaxy Watch, definitely check out that guide at shop.techiso.tv. Wireless earbuds are pretty subjective for what you're specifically looking for. So for me personally, I just use Samsung's Pro line of earbuds because they just integrate the best with the Samsung ecosystem I'm already using. They seamlessly switch between all of my devices without me having to change any settings. They sound great, have excellent noise canceling, and are comfortable for extended use. Using Samsung's earbuds with Samsung's devices also unlocks a ton of extra features that you don't get with other earbuds. In fact, there is so much that the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro can do when connected to a Samsung phone that I created a deep dive video just on the Buds 3 Pro. and you can check that out with the card above or the link in the description and pinned comment. Now, if I'm going on a work trip, I use the Sony XM6s. These are even more comfortable for extended wear, sound even better, have better noise canceling for flights, and have great smart features like automatically starting and stopping your music when you take them off or put them on again. They can even automatically change their settings based on what you're doing, like sitting, walking, or traveling in a vehicle. They can connect to 2 devices simultaneously and have tons of fine-tuning settings like a 10-band equalizer, ambient sound adjustments, a listening mode that can simulate listening to music in various places like at a coffee shop, and they even have a Find Your Equalizer feature that helps you fine-tune the sound to exactly the way you like it without needing any knowledge of how an equalizer works. There's a reason these are one of the best-selling premium headphones. But if you don't want that premium price tag but want a lot of the similar features to the XM6s, then Sony's XM4s are still a great buy, and these were my go-to headphones for years. They don't have quite as much customizability or as many features as the XM6s, but they are considerably less expensive and still sound excellent with incredible noise canceling. But if you want to stick with your favorite wired headphones, then I recommend this USB-C to 3.5mm headphone jack adapter from Ugreen. They're super compact and have a high power pass-through, so you can still charge your Samsung devices at 45 watts while using wired headphones. The 2 ports can also go in different directions or snap together magnetically if they're going in the same direction. And in case you're wondering, if your headphones have inline play, pause, skip, and volume controls, those do work with this adapter. Now let's take a look at some of the best 3-in-1 chargers, starting with some great budget options and working our way up to an ultra premium option. If you don't have a MagSafe case, then this Holy Joy charger is the way to go. You get fast wireless charging in both portrait and landscape modes, a horizontal watch charger so you can get stable charging even with a heavy watch band, a large wireless earbuds charging pad in the back, and a button to turn the LEDs on or off, which is great if you use this on a nightstand and want complete darkness when you're sleeping. And if that's not enough, this charger can also fold completely flat for easy traveling. If you want a similar stand but with a MagSafe charger instead, then this Mayfigno 3-in-1 charger is a great buy. You still get fast wireless charging, and the watch charger works in both horizontal and angled orientations. It also folds flat, but in a slightly different way. The only thing you lose is the charging LEDs. Now, if you're someone who prefers to charge your wireless earbuds on the front of the charger, then this other Mayfigno charger will be great for you. You lose the folding feature and rotatable Galaxy Watch charger, but you do gain a small charging LED that illuminates briefly when you mount your phone, but not when you charge your watch or earbuds. If you want the most premium MagSafe option, then the all-metal Brimford 3-in-1 MagSafe charger is hands down the way to go. Not only is this the only charger I could find that actually supports Qi2 ultra-fast wireless charging for Samsung phones, but it also has friction hinges to angle the phone exactly the way you want it, has an adjustable night light, and it can fold completely flat for easy traveling. Even the included 30-watt charger is super compact. So if you're looking for the best of the best, this is it. Now let's talk about the best controllers for Samsung devices. Let's start with these capacitive triggers. These mount directly to the phone, and if your game supports moving the virtual buttons to different locations, you can put them right under these 2 pads right here. Then when you click the buttons on the top, it'll be just like tapping those buttons. And this is really useful for getting an inexpensive competitive advantage in first-person shooter games. If you own something like an Xbox or PlayStation controller, then you can get this phone mount that attaches directly to the controller. This particular mount is a MagSafe mount, which is really useful for things like Samsung's foldable phones, because if you get a MagSafe case, you can just pop it on and play on that huge screen. And in case you're wondering, this does have a swivel mount, so you can angle your phone however you need. If you want a more advanced controller that's still relatively budget-friendly, at least compared to the last 2 controllers here, then the GameSir G8 Plus is an excellent option. This is a Bluetooth-based controller, and it does open up pretty wide to even fit some small tablets. And the controls on this feel excellent. You do have Hall effect sticks here, so they are going to last longer than traditional analog sticks. This controller also has 2 programmable buttons on the back. And these faceplates are removable, so you can take out these buttons. And you can put these in different orientations, so if you need something different than A, B, X, Y to match whatever game you're playing, you can do that with this controller. And these just pop back in magnetically. The control sticks are also swappable. You just pull straight up and they pop right off. And you get 3 extra control sticks in the box. You get the same style top, but a taller stick. And you also get 2 standard height sticks with different style tops. The one disadvantage with this controller is that since it is a Bluetooth connection, you're going to have a bit of a higher latency. So if you want to play really competitively and have the fastest possible response time, then you're going to want to go with one of these next 2 controllers because these plug directly into your phone. This particular controller is the Razer Kishi V3 Pro, and it's my personal favorite controller mainly because of the ergonomics. This is an extremely comfortable controller to use for an extended period of time, and it also gets very wide, supporting devices up to about 8 inches. The joysticks on the Razer controller are TMR sticks, so they are going to be better than the Hall effect sensors that are on the GameSir controller. But honestly, you're probably not going to notice too big of a difference unless you're playing really competitive games. This controller also has replaceable thumbsticks, so I can just pop this off and choose from one of these 2 options. This is again the same style, but a taller stick, and here is a smaller dome style top. And they also have little alignment markers to know how to put the sticks on. The directional pad's also very different on the Kishi V3 Pro versus the other 2 controllers because you can press into these diagonal areas a whole lot easier. So if you play games where these diagonal D-pad presses are really important, then the Kishi V3 Pro is going to be a better option. But if you play games where you really need to isolate the up, down, left, right directional movements, then one of these other controllers would probably be better for you. The Razer Kishi V3 Pro also comes with 3 different sized inserts to support different sized phones, and the inserts just press into place. Looking at the bottom of this controller, you also get a 3.5mm headphone jack and USB-C power pass-through port, and you also get more buttons, including 2 extra shoulder buttons at the top and 2 more buttons in the back as well. A significant missing feature with the Razer controller is the lack of Bluetooth support. You can only connect to your devices through this USB-C port. Although, to be fair, you can connect a USB-C 90-degree adapter like this and a USB-C extender cable and plug the other end into a tablet. Then you'll be able to use the same wired controls on any of your tablets. And I'll leave a link to these adapters in the description and pinned comment if you're interested. The last option is the Backbone Pro controller, and I'd recommend this for anyone who needs both USB-C and Bluetooth functionality, and for people that want a premium controller that's compact for traveling. Although despite being so compact, it can still open up to support about a 7-inch device. The one caveat with being the most compact is it's also the least comfortable to hold for an extended period of time. It's not bad, but if you don't need that Bluetooth functionality, then I do recommend the Razer controller over the Backbone Pro. The Backbone Pro does also have that power pass-through and 3.5mm headphone jack, and this button here is a Bluetooth pairing button. And speaking of buttons, the Backbone Pro does have 3 less buttons than the Razer controller. It is missing these top buttons here. You will not find these on the Backbone controller. And you also have 5 extra buttons on the front of the Razer controller versus just 4 on the Backbone Pro. But you do still get these programmable buttons on the back. Unfortunately, Backbone used AOPS sticks, so these are going to be more prone to stick drift than either the GameSir or Razer controllers. The Backbone controller also does not have replaceable sticks, and the only accessory you get is another size cradle to accommodate different sized phones and cases. All 3 of these controllers have dedicated applications that allow you to do things like quickly launch games, adjust control stick settings, map virtual touchscreen controls to the physical buttons, and a bunch more that I cover in my full video comparing all of these controllers. So if you want to learn even more about these controllers, you can check out that video by clicking the card above or the link in the description and pinned comment. I want to switch gears now and talk about some pro-level accessories for those of you who want to get every single penny's worth of functionality out of your phone. And to start, we're going to take a look at Samsung's desktop mode. This is a feature that turns Samsung's flagship phones into literal desktop computers with a desktop for shortcuts and folders, floating windows, desktop versions of Microsoft Office apps, a desktop-style web browser, a file browser with drag and drop support, and even support for game controllers so you can play mobile games or even Xbox Game Pass on a big screen. All you need to do this is a USB to HDMI adapter and an HDMI cable, or a USB-C to C cable and a monitor or TV that supports either HDMI or USB-C input. Just plug the USB-C end into your phone, then the other end into your TV or monitor, and your phone will automatically start Dex. And while you can use your phone as a trackpad and keyboard to control Dex, you'll get a much better experience if you connect a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. And if you want the most compact version, iClever's new foldable keyboard is the way to go. It has fold-out stabilizer arms to keep it steady. You can connect up to 3 devices. It has nearly full-size keyboard key spacing with tactile buttons and a responsive trackpad that not only has gesture support and physical left and right click buttons behind the pad, but can also switch to a number pad mode if you press the function key and spacebar at the same time. Then you just press the function and spacebar again to either disable the touchpad completely or switch back to the regular touchpad. This keyboard even comes with a compact phone stand, a soft carrying case, and recharges with USB-C. If you want to take Dex to the next level, I recommend the Wavelink hub. This hub is a bit bulky, but it adds a feature that I couldn't find on any other hub, and that's a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port that actually works. It also has a power pass-through for fast charging your phone while using Dex, and both HDMI and DisplayPort output connectors, but you can only connect to one display at a time. There's also 10 gigabit USB-C and USB-A ports, 2 USB 2.0 ports, SD and micro SD card slots, and even a 3.5mm port for a headphone jack. So if you wanted to use your phone as a desktop replacement, you can literally do that with this hub. But if this hub is a bit too big for you and you want something a little bit smaller and you don't mind dropping the 3.5mm headphone jack, the 2 display ports, and dropping down to a 1 gigabit Ethernet port instead of a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, then the higher cool adapter is going to be the way to go. This one is significantly smaller. And while the higher cool hub does have 3 USB 3.0 ports, it does drop the USB-C data port. Instead, you just get 1 USB-C port for power pass-through. Now here's a quick pro tip for Dex. If you just want to connect to a TV, most smart TVs do have the ability to connect wirelessly using Samsung Dex. Just pull down your quick toggles, tap the wireless Dex toggle, and check the list for your TV. The one problem with wireless Dex though is that it's not quite as responsive, so if you wanted to do something like gaming, I highly recommend just sticking to a physical cable. If you own a dash cam, trail cam, action camera, or you have a ton of digital movies, then this little guy is going to be your new best friend. This is a USB-C to micro SD card reader. This adapter is the smallest one I could find, and the USB-C plug is long enough that it can fit in your phone even if you have a case on, which is not true about most micro SD card adapters. This will allow you to do things like immediately show your dash camera footage to a police officer if you were in an accident, or you can edit your action camera footage on the go. Or if you're going on a big trip and you want access to your entire library of digital movies, you can put all of those on the micro SD card and not waste any of the space on your phone. Samsung's smart tags are not only good for helping you find your stuff, but the built-in button allows them to control your smart devices as well. And you could even use this button to help you find your phone. The built-in hole on the smart tags make it easy to attach them to things like keychains, bags, or pet collars, or you can simply place them in a bag. And once you've placed a tag, you can then use your phone to actively track the location of the tag. And if they're nearby, you'll get a meter telling you how close you are to the tag. And you can even make the tag ring to make it easier to find. And if you accidentally left the tag somewhere else, like maybe at a coffee shop or an office, you can immediately start navigation in Google Maps so you can drive to the tag. And the button I mentioned earlier can be used for a number of different things. You could set up a single press or long press to arm your security system, run any routine you've set up, you can send custom notifications to someone, or control one or many of your smart devices. If you're looking for the best microfiber cleaning cloths for your screens, then the Magic Fiber cleaning cloths are going to be hard to beat. I've personally been using these for all my devices for a few years now, and they work great. I'll leave a link to these as well as every other accessory in this video in the description and pinned comment. And since those are affiliate links, it does really help out the channel when you guys use them, especially with videos like this, where I have to purchase over 100 accessories, which I literally couldn't afford to do without your help. So I just wanted to say a massive thanks to everyone who's been using my links. But one product I didn't mention in this video is Samsung's new XR headset. And if you want to learn more about this product and some of the absolutely crazy things it can do, you can check out this playlist here. Consider subscribing and turning on notifications if you don't want to miss more deep dive tech reviews. That's it for this tech episode. Jesus loves you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.